a lot of people in the comments of the video earlier on were just asking me why I was so calm. I think I have to just process and I have to think it through before I speak from the heart. I have to cover the topic, of course, from a professional side or as much as I can without getting us in trouble on the channel. But I think you can see by tonight's thumbnail where I'm going to go with this. It is utterly disgusting at a minimum. But we will go through it all tonight. We're also going to be speaking about the international break and what that means for Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold's injury, of course, as well. But there is only one place to start, ladies and gentlemen, and that is, of course, with the David Coote video. So we've put together a bit of a timeline here that we're going to show you how this unfolded over the course of the day. And I think the timeline will speak to the type of character we're dealing with here with David Coote as well, because obviously we're all going to be a bit hot under the collar. We're going to be frustrated. We're going to be angry. We're going to be screaming for blood. But it gives you an insight into the rationale and thought processes of the man when I go through this for you. So I will in a moment. Just want to say again, thank you to Mark, who I've seen gifted a membership there as well. Appreciate it. So look, I'm going to run through the timeline of these events as we seen them and got them here today. So earlier on today at 3 o'clock, we were to record a video with David Lynch. About 10 to 3, this comes to my attention about the David Coote video. So obviously I have a quick watch of the video. Connor has a quick look on social media. And we then start to compile a list of offences that that David Coote has been involved in with regards to Liverpool. And then we see the reaction in the media and of course from him to this. So I'm going to talk you through how this day unfolded and why David Coote is not to be trusted, in my opinion. And that's the fairest I'm going to be with it until I read through this timeline for you. So the video came to our attention anyway, and if you've watched the video, what we see are a couple of things. We don't know the exact time frame of the video, although it's believed it's in and around the COVID time, because of course they were speaking about social distancing and a few other bits and pieces in the video. So firstly, we have to talk about the fact that he's there mocking social distancing while sitting beside somebody laughing about the fact that they're 2 meters away from each other when they were clearly inches away from each other. So that sets up the tone, I think, for the video. Then we've got the part where he's asked what he thinks of Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool by the other person in the video, and he said Jurgen Klopp is a Clint, let's just say, for want of a better phrase, and he doesn't really like Liverpool too much either. Also in this video, we had seen the other person say, we hate Scousers. You know, very clear, very straightforward, and summarising his own video. The second part, though, which is interesting, is he calls him a German, you know what, as well. So throwing a little bit of xenophobia in there as well, Mr. Coote, why not? But then the funny thing happened. So the reports started to come out on social media from many Liverpool fans, and Steve Hoare of Redmen TV posted up just to give a few examples of what David Coote has officiated over and presided over with regards to Liverpool. So Manchester United goal at Old Trafford where Divock Origi was fouled and it wasn't brought back by VAR. Guess who was in there for that one? David Lynch. Another one was Jordan Pickford. Remember, he came out, cleaned out Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk then had to miss the whole season with an ACL. Guess who was on VAR for that one? That's right, it was Mr. David Coote. On top of that, remember last year, one of the incidents that I speak about quite a bit on the channel, which is Martin Odegaard going full Harlem Globetrotter. You'll never guess who was on VAR for that game as well. Okay, maybe you will guess. Yes, it was David Coote. Are we seeing a pattern yet, ladies and gentlemen? So we already, as Liverpool fans, believe that Coote doesn't like Liverpool, certainly doesn't like Jurgen Klopp. But now we've got some video evidence of it. Or do we? Because he started to go and start his defence, shall we say. And first of all, he claimed it was AI. So tried to say, firstly, that the video was nothing to do with him and that it was AI. So let me start reading some of this from you. Some people then, where's this one? David Coote has been suspended with immediate effect following a full investigation. The POMOL will not be commenting further until the process is complete. This is the sickening part, though. The Mirror ran with a story that said Premier League referee David Coote vehemently denies inappropriate conduct and has been insistent to referees chief, the PGMOL, that the viral video in which he appears is not genuine. So he was going down the it's AI route. It's not genuine. That wasn't me on the video. Somebody's clearly made this up. Only for that to be backtracked then very quickly, where apparently he did admit that it was him in the video. He did say those things about Klopp and Liverpool. But here's the kicker. He doesn't remember saying them. Why might that have been? Well, I have my own ideas based off the video. You know, people think it was a night out with maybe a couple of drinks taken. Perhaps. I, as somebody who has been around the social scene for my entire life and have friends who socialise quite frequently, would suggest that maybe there was something else in there causing that arrogance from David Coote. Now, ironically, he speaks about Jurgen Klopp being arrogant and not wanting to speak to arrogant people, whilst coming across as an arrogant piece of shit in the video. So I have my own thoughts on perhaps what's perked him up a little bit watching this video, but you know, each to their own. We don't know anything for certain. But then very quickly, it became clear that he's just a liar. Because if you deny, one, that the video's real, then you admit that it's real, and then you say you don't remember it. These are all patterns of behaviour that I think we are perfectly within our rights to say forms a picture of Mr. David Coote and the type of person that he is. Now, it is up to the PGMOL, the Premier League, and everybody concerned to do their investigation, and we will see what comes of it. But no more do I want to hear that Liverpool aren't being shafted by referees. No more do I want to hear that Scousers are once again always the victims and are inventing these type of scenarios. We have seen very fucking clearly, make no mistake about it, that referees have shafted us on occasion. Now, I don't think we're the only club that gets shafted by referees. I would say every fan base out there has 2 or 3 referees that they feel aren't very fond of their club. And what we also need to have a conversation here as well about is the nonsense of referees all professing to support clubs like Notts County, Altrincham, and lower level clubs so they can officiate in the Premier League. The only one I'm aware of who's really fessed up to being a fan of a Premier League club is Jared Gillett from Australia, who's a Liverpool fan and thus won't officiate any Liverpool games. Absolute common sense stuff. This is disgusting. Now, it isn't for me to say what should happen here. It's a process and it needs to be gone through. But even if we're saying that this is a lad on the night out, not speaking about work, I've seen that argument. I've seen people come up to go, look, this is just a lad shitting about people he doesn't like in work. And that happens all the time. We all do it. We all go out and say it. But we all haven't signed clauses, which I'm sure he has, not to bring the game or the profession into disrepute. And that is exactly what he's done here. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys to read some of your comments, because you know my take on it. I think he's an absolute lowlife. And this is before, by the way, we get into the other iffy stuff that he's been doing, sending other dodgy videos, which will all, I'm sure, do the rounds occasionally, and you'll get to see them yourselves. But this speaks to, in my opinion, the PGMOL in general, and it speaks to the calibre of person perhaps that they're attracting to these roles. So let's go back to the game against Aston Villa that just happened this weekend. And I want to pull people up on one thing, which, to be fair to Dermot Gallagher on Ref Watch, he did raise. Remember when Mohamed Salah was through on goal and he was clipped by Leon Bailey, and then Darwin Núñez rounded Emi Martinez and scored? Well, the referee didn't play an advantage there. The referee very clearly indicated that that was no foul. No foul. Why? How? In what world? Even Dermot Gallagher couldn't comprehend how the referee doesn't think that was a foul and a red card. And from there on, it just shows you what we're up against. Now, I know that Aston Villa fans will have 1 or 2 instances where they feel like maybe they should have had a penalty. Fair enough, we can discuss them as well. But this man right here clearly has something against Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. So at the bare minimum, in my humble opinion, should be nowhere within any reach of influence to Liverpool or their league credentials or their title ambitions. We've got to be honest about this now. We've got to stop pretending that referees maybe don't have inbuilt dislikes of people. We have to stop. Let's be adult about this. Because I don't know if this has impacted us over the course of a season or two. I have my own take on it, and I feel it probably did, but I've no proof of that. But what we can say without any hesitation is this needs to provoke a conversation around the PGMOL, the referees, and the handling of these type of situations, because that man right there should play no further part in the Premier League, in my opinion, because that is a shithouse video to make. And he knows, because in the second video, he says to the guy, well, this video obviously can't go out. And then the guy there with him, being the shithouse that he is, also says, well, obviously we're good guys. We're not going to ruin a man's career, only for the video to get out somehow. So how did the video get out then? If it's only in the hands of one person, how did it get out? It's almost as if he's as much of a lowlife as Coote. So I'm going to go to you guys now and see what you have to say, because I'm absolutely fuming about this, and I'm watching my P's and Q's, because I don't want to get in trouble over it. Rusba, thank you for your super chat, my friend. Said, what do you think the right course of action / penalty for Coote? I personally think he should be banned from our games and forever go to prison, wink wink. So the thing is, let's say he was banned from officiating over any of our games. I don't think that's enough, and I'm going to try and explain why. One of the incidents that we're speaking about here that impacted us was a game between Manchester City and Everton. So even if he isn't refereeing or officiating over our games as a fourth official or a VAR, he still has the opportunity to shaft us, as we've seen. So I think if they decide that there's been a wrongdoing here and that this violates rules, we need to see the book thrown at him. Because Liverpool and our fans, we did take the moral high ground when Konstantin Hadziakis was throwing elbows at Andy Robertson. All of us said, no, don't want him sacked, don't want the guy to lose his career. It was a heat of the moment thing, he made a mistake. And we asked what would have happened if it was the other way around. So I'm going to pitch it like this. To all of you people out there who are trying to say like this is no big deal, we need to admit two things here. One, if you're in that camp, I would suggest you're most likely somebody that has no interest in Liverpool doing well or just likes to see us undermined. So you can go fuck yourself. And secondly, imagine this was reversed. And imagine this was a video of Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola or Mikel Arteta or anybody else involved in the football game speaking about a referee in that way. How do you think the Premier League, the FA and the PGMOL would react to that? I would imagine that they would condemn it, that they would be charged, fined for bringing the game into disrepute, but all of a sudden it's no big deal? To you people out there who just don't want to let Liverpool have any type of little win, even if the evidence is so overwhelming that it's undeniable, your first reaction is to go to, well, no big deal, fuck you. If it was the other way around and this was your club, you would be absolutely seething, and rightly so. And here's the difference. I'd be here to support you, because I've long said referees shaft everybody. One week it's us, the next week it might be you. And this tribalism of brushing it off is what allows this fostering of this type of behaviour. We can't do that because it's a get out of jail free card for them. We as fans need to come together and call this out. Because yeah, it's funny laughing at us. Or yeah, it's funny when I laugh at United. But ultimately, it is impacting the credibility of the most popular league in the world. At a time where they already have enough headaches with the Manchester City charges and all the other irregularities that the Premier League are trying to get a grip on, we now have evidence that the referees are questionable, to say the least. Now, we might say this is just one bad apple, but it isn't. You know it isn't, I know it isn't, and there is just an acceptance that we have to just get on with it. No, we don't. We deserve better. The football world deserves better.